Vyse. Vyse is the latest Sentinel that was released recently. Abilities: Razor Wine. It equips a nest of liquid metal which becomes invisible upon landing. Once activated, it becomes a big vine nest which slows and damages everyone who moves through it. Shear. These are filaments of liquid metal which places a hidden wall trap upon firing. As soon as an enemy crosses the hidden wall, it transforms into an indestructible wall which lasts for a small time. Arc Rose. You have to aim the arc rose and fire to place it on a surface, and it stays hidden too, just like her other abilities. Reusing it blinds every player looking at it. You can also pick up arc rose to redeploy it. Ultimate. Steel Garden is a shrub of liquid metal. Firing it sends out metal erupting from Vyse as a torrent of metal thorns, and it jams enemy primary weapons for a brief duration. Vyse needs 8 points to use her ult. Playstyle. Vyse excels in locking down areas, denying enemy pushes, and supporting the team by using her abilities. Razor Wine slows down enemy pushes and makes it easier for your duelists to win 1v1s. Shear is great for stopping the enemy from retreating, while Arc Rose will blind the enemies. Her ultimate is really great for winning teamfights, as Vyse completely nullifies their weapons, but keep in mind that Neon's ult, Chamber's ult, and Jet's ult still work, and so do your pistols and knives. Strengths: Area control and denial. Trap setup to catch enemies off guard. Strong sight anchor. Weaknesses: Limited mobility. Predictability. Over time, your opponents might learn your trap patterns. Weak in combat utility. Best team compositions: Sova or Skye to provide early intel to help Vyse with her traps. Astra or Viper to block sightlines and complement Vyse's abilities with their stars and toxic screen. Jet or Raze to pressure and force the enemy into her traps and kill people caught in Vyse's traps. Killjoy to provide additional sight control and utility to lock down multiple points, or Omen for smokes and paranoia. Best counters for Vyse. It's kinda hard to counter Vyse due to her hidden traps, but duelists like Jet, Phoenix, and Raze along with a Sova to find her location can easily counter Vyse and catch her off guard due to her poor mobility. Overall difficulty: medium to high. Vyse is easy to understand in concept, but actually mastering the timing, placement, and coordination required to use her effectively raises her difficulty. Cypher. Amir El Amari hails from Rabat, Morocco. He was one of the first Sentinels available to play since closed beta. Abilities: Trapwire. Firing a trapwire places a destructible but covert tripwire at the targeted location, creating a line between the tripwire and the wall opposite. Enemies who cross a tripwire will be tethered, revealed, and concussed after a short period if the tripwire isn't destroyed. Cybercage. Throws a cage in front of Cypher which can be activated later. It blocks vision. Spycam. Places a spycam at the targeted location. You can take control of the camera's view and even fire to shoot a marking dart which will reveal the location of players struck by the dart. Ultimate. Neural Theft. It is used on a dead enemy to download their team's information. The location of all living enemies is revealed twice after usage. Cypher needs 6 points for his ult. If you're loving this video, make sure to subscribe for more guides. Playstyle. Cypher focuses on gathering information, setting up traps, and catching enemies off guard. He thrives when playing a defensive, strategic role, anchoring sites by providing constant information to his team. Strengths: Excellent intel gathering. Strong sight control. Hidden utility. Weaknesses: Utility can be destroyed. No mobility or lethality. Utility reliant. Best team compositions. Cypher pairs well with agents like Omen and Sova for information gathering and denying space. Raze and Reyna can capitalize on the information Cypher provides to engage or push enemies. Best counters for Cypher. Raze can destroy Cypher's traps with her explosives. Sova can reveal Cypher's hiding spots and gadgets with his recon bolt or owl drone. Fade. Her haunt and seize can find Cypher's traps and control his position. Overall difficulty: medium to high. Cypher requires strategic placement and good map knowledge to be effective, making him challenging for new players, but rewarding for those with experience. Sage. Wei Ling Ying, or Sage, hails from China and is one of the first 2 Sentinels in the game. Abilities. Barrier Orb. It places a wall which solidifies after a period. It has 800 HP after being fortified. Slow Orb. Firing throws a slowing orb which detonates on landing, creating a lingering field that slows players caught inside of it. Healing Orb. Firing the healing orb over an ally activates a heal over time on them. Alt firing activated the heal on Sage herself. Ultimate. Resurrection. It resurrects a dead ally with full health, but you need to be near the ally's dead body. Sage needs 8 points for her ult. Playstyle. Sage focuses on healing teammates, slowing enemy pushes, and blocking sightlines with her wall. She excels in holding defensive positions and keeping her team alive. Strengths. Healing and revives. Area control. Strong utility for defense. Weaknesses. Limited aggression, utility dependence, wall durability. Best team compositions. Sage pairs well with agents like Skye for additional healing, Jet for mobility, and Brimstone for smoke control, creating a balanced composition. Best counters for Sage. Viper. Her toxic screen can bypass Sage's barrier orb and slow orb. Raze. Her explosives can destroy Sage's wall and quickly push through. Phoenix. His curveball can clear Sage's slow zones and blind her for aggressive pushes. Overall difficulty. Low to medium. Sage has a simple kit that's easy to understand but difficult to master in terms of timing and positioning. Killjoy. Kiara Boehringer, or KJ, is the 3rd Sentinel to be released in Valorant. She hails from Germany. Abilities. Nanoswarm. It throws a nanoswarm grenade. Upon landing, the grenade goes covert like Cypher's tripwire. Activating the grenade deploys a damaging swarm of nanobots. Alarm Bot. It deploys a covert alarm bot which hunts down enemies if they get in range. If the alarm bot reaches them, then it applies a vulnerable state to them. Turret. Deploys a turret which can fire at enemies in a 180-degree cone, and it can be recalled back. Ultimate. Lockdown. Fires a lockdown device which has a long wind-up time, but it detains all enemies caught in the radius. The device can also be destroyed by enemies. Killjoy needs 9 points for her ult. Playstyle. Killjoy focuses on using her gadgets to lock down sites, delay pushes, and gather information. She excels in controlling space and forcing enemies into predictable movements. Strengths. Strong area control. Post-plant utility. Ultimate shutdown. Weaknesses. Static utility. Requires setup time. Vulnerable without gadgets. Best team compositions. Killjoy and Astra, and Breach, and Jet, and Phoenix. Killjoy pairs well with agents who can disrupt enemies while her gadgets are doing the heavy lifting. Astra can complement her lockdown potential, and Breach can disorient enemies. Best counters for Killjoy. Sova. His recon bolt can reveal Killjoy's gadgets, allowing the team to destroy them. KO. His 0 point can disable Killjoy's abilities temporarily, neutralizing her setup. Raze. Her boombot and paint shells can destroy Killjoy's gadgets from a distance. Overall difficulty. Medium. Killjoy requires good positioning and timing to maximize her utility and can be vulnerable when gadgets are misused. Chamber. Vincent Fabron, or Chamber, hails from France and is the 4th Sentinel to be added to the game. Abilities. Trademark. Fires a trap which scans enemies. When an enemy comes in range, the trap slows down and destabilizes the terrain, creating a field that slows players caught in it. Headhunter. Equips a heavy pistol with a scope. Basically just a sheriff with a scope, but you pay 100 per bullet. Rendezvous. It places a teleport anchor. When on ground and in range of the anchor, reactivating the ability teleports you to the anchor. Tour de Force. Equips a powerful, custom-made sniper rifle which will kill an enemy if you directly hit their upper body. Killing anyone creates a field which slows other enemies caught inside it. It also requires 8 ult points. Playstyle. Chamber is a hybrid sentinel and duelist, capable of holding aggressive angles with his trademark trap and teleporting away after securing kills. His Headhunter and Tour de Force allow him to act as a long-range threat. Strengths. has very lethal weapons, has an escape mechanism, can apply pressure easily. Weaknesses: reliant on setup, no healing or protection, vulnerable to aggressive pushes. Best team compositions: Chamber and Omen and Sova and Jet and Breach. Chamber pairs well with agents who can provide smokes or flashes, allowing him to hold angles or create space. Best counters for Chamber: Fade. Her Haunt and Prowlers can locate Chamber even when he tries to play at long range. Raze. Her explosive abilities can destroy Chamber's trademark and pressure him out of his position. Jet. Jet's speed can bypass Chamber's traps and catch him in vulnerable moments. Overall difficulty: medium to high. Chamber's reliance on positioning, timing, and gunplay mechanics makes him more difficult to master than other Sentinels. Deadlock. Iselin, or Deadlock, hails from Norway and is the 5th Sentinel to be added to the game. Abilities: Gravnet. You can fire to throw a Gravnet which detonates upon landing, forcing any characters caught within it to move slowly and crouch. Sonic Sensor. Deploys a sensor which monitors an area for the enemies making sounds. It concusses the area if footsteps, weapons fire, or significant noise is detected. Barrier Mesh. Equips a barrier mesh disc which moves forward after firing. The disc generates barriers which block character movement. Ultimate. Annihilation. Fires a nanowire accelerator which unleashes a pulse of nanowires. It captures the first enemy contacted. The cocooned enemy is pulled along a path, and they die if they reach the end. The cocoon can be destroyed to stop it. Deadlock requires 7 ult points to use her ult. Playstyle. Deadlock focuses on trapping enemies and controlling key lanes with abilities designed to prevent enemy movement. She excels at setting traps and punishing aggressive pushes. Strengths: crowd control, strong lurk potential, versatile defensive setup. Weaknesses: no healing or damage, trap reliant. Best team compositions: Deadlock and Viper and Sky and Phoenix and Jet. Deadlock pairs well with agents who can capitalize on her traps, like Phoenix and Jet for aggressive pushes, or Viper for controlling large areas. Best counters for Deadlock: Raze. Raze's abilities can destroy Deadlock's traps, nullifying her setups. KO. KO's 0 point can disable Deadlock's traps temporarily. Sova. Sova's recon belt can reveal Deadlock's traps from a distance, allowing them to be destroyed before engagement. Overall difficulty: medium. Deadlock's playstyle requires good map knowledge and strategic placement, making her more difficult for beginners but rewarding for skilled players.